What if the very identity you've been clinging to, the one that feels so familiar and safe, is actually the invisible prison keeping you from everything you've ever wanted? What if every limitation you've accepted, every realistic expectation you've settled for, every time you've talked yourself out of dreaming bigger, is just evidence that you've become addicted to being small? Here's a truth that's going to shake everything you think you know about why success feels so elusive. The universe isn't withholding abundance from you. You're energetically blocking it by refusing to let go of the version of yourself that created your current limitations. This isn't about willpower, positive thinking, or working harder at manifestation techniques. This is about recognizing that your current identity has an energetic ceiling, and no matter how much you visualize, affirm, or take inspired action, you'll keep hitting that same invisible barrier until you're willing to release who you've been to become who you're meant to be. The most successful people aren't lucky. They've simply learned to let go of the old self that was keeping them small and consciously chosen to embody an identity that naturally magnetizes abundance. If you've been doing all the right things but still feeling stuck, if you've been manifesting in circles without breakthrough results, if you know you're capable of so much more but can't seem to break through to the next level, then this message is your wake-up call. Because today, you're going to discover how to let go of the identity that's been keeping you small and step into the expanded version of yourself that the universe is just waiting to shower with blessings. There's this deep, gnawing frustration that eats away at your soul when you know you're capable of so much more, yet somehow you keep finding yourself in the same limiting situations over and over again. You've read the books, attended the seminars, done the vision boards, practiced the affirmations, and yet here you are, still feeling like you're watching your life from the sidelines instead of being the star of your own show. It's not that you're lazy or uncommitted, it's that there's an invisible ceiling you keep bumping your head against, a barrier that seems to exist just beyond your conscious awareness. The pain isn't just disappointment, it's the soul-crushing realization that you might be your own worst enemy, unconsciously sabotaging the very life you claim to want. This playing small shows up in the most insidious ways, like when you get excited about a new opportunity but then find yourself making excuses not to pursue it, or when you have a brilliant idea but immediately start listing all the reasons why it won't work. You might notice yourself dimming your light in conversations, downplaying your achievements, or automatically assuming that success is meant for other people but not for you. It's like being trapped in a glass box where you can see the life you want but can't seem to break through to reach it. Even when good things do happen, you find ways to minimize them or convince yourself they were just lucky breaks that won't happen again. The most heartbreaking part of playing small is that deep down you know you're settling for a fraction of what's possible for you. You catch glimpses of your true potential in moments of inspiration, but then reality sets in and you shrink back to what feels safe and familiar. This internal conflict creates a constant state of tension between who you're being and who you know you could become. The universe is trying to expand your life, but you keep pulling back into the comfort zone of your current identity, wondering why abundance feels so elusive when you're doing everything the self-help gurus tell you to do. Your old identity acts like an energetic lock on the door to abundance, and no matter how hard you push against that door, it won't budge until you find the right key to unlock it. This isn't about willpower or positive thinking. It's about understanding that your current identity has an energetic signature that either aligns with abundance or repels it. And most people are unconsciously broadcasting a frequency of limitation while wondering why prosperity feels so hard to attract. Think of it like trying to tune into a radio station for classical music while your radio is locked onto a heavy metal frequency. You can want the classical music all day long, but until you change the station, you're only going to hear heavy metal. The energetic locks show up as automatic responses that seem to have a mind of their own, like the way your chest tightens when you think about charging premium prices for your services, or how you automatically check your bank account with anxiety even when you know there's money in there. These aren't just habits, they're energetic patterns hardwired into your nervous system from years of identifying as someone who struggles, who has to work hard for everything, who doesn't deserve the best life has to offer. Your abundance mindset gets sabotaged by these deeper programs that whisper, "People like me don't get to have nice things," or "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "I should be grateful for what I have instead of wanting more." The tricky part about these energetic locks is that they're often invisible to the person carrying them. You might consciously believe you deserve abundance while unconsciously pushing it away through subtle behaviors and energy patterns. You could be visualizing wealth while energetically bracing for disappointment, or affirming success while your body language screams insecurity. The universe responds to your energetic truth, not your conscious intentions, which is why someone can want abundance desperately yet continue to attract scarcity. Until you unlock these deeper patterns and let go of the old self that created them, you'll keep hitting the same invisible barriers no matter how many manifestation techniques you try. The most dangerous beliefs are the ones you don't even know you have, the unconscious programming that runs silently in the background of your mind, making decisions about what's possible for you before your conscious mind even gets involved. These subconscious beliefs were installed during childhood, moments of trauma, or periods when you were emotionally vulnerable, and they've been running your life like outdated software that needs a serious upgrade. The subconscious identity trap is particularly insidious because it feels like just who you are, rather than a collection of learned responses that can be changed. You might tell yourself you're ready for a spiritual identity shift, but if your subconscious is still identified with struggle, limitation, and unworthiness, that's the reality you'll keep creating. These limiting beliefs often masquerade as virtues or realistic thinking, which makes them even harder to spot and release. Maybe you were taught that wanting money makes you greedy, so you unconsciously sabotage financial opportunities to maintain your identity as a good person. Perhaps you learned that successful people are selfish, or that you have to suffer to be spiritual, so your subconscious blocks abundance to protect your sense of moral superiority. The tricky part about these energetic locks is that they're often invisible to the person carrying them. You might consciously believe you deserve abundance while unconsciously pushing it away through subtle behaviors and energy patterns. You could be visualizing wealth while energetically bracing for disappointment, or affirming success while your body language screams insecurity. The universe responds to your energetic truth, not your conscious intentions, which is why someone can want abundance desperately yet continue to attract scarcity. Until you unlock these deeper patterns and let go of the old self that created them, you'll keep hitting the same invisible barriers no matter how many manifestation techniques you try. The most dangerous beliefs are the ones you don't even know you have, the unconscious programming that runs silently in the background of your mind, making decisions about what's possible for you before your conscious mind even gets involved. These subconscious beliefs were installed during childhood, moments of trauma, or periods when you were emotionally vulnerable, and they've been running your life like outdated software that needs a serious upgrade. The subconscious identity trap is particularly insidious because it feels like just who you are, rather than a collection of learned responses that can be changed. Or maybe you absorb the belief that you're not the type of person who gets lucky breaks, wins contests, or has things come easily, so you unconsciously create struggle to stay consistent with this identity. These beliefs feel true because they've been reinforced over years or decades, but they're actually just stories you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you deserve. The breakthrough happens when you start questioning these truths about yourself and recognizing them as optional beliefs rather than immutable facts. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm just not good with money," or "I always choose the wrong people," or "Success never comes easy for me," you can pause and ask, is this actually true, or is this just a story I've been repeating? This awareness creates space between you and your limiting beliefs, allowing you to choose new thoughts that align with the expanded version of yourself you're becoming. The goal isn't to fight these old beliefs, but to outgrow them by consciously choosing a new identity that makes the old limitations irrelevant. Letting go of who you've been to become who you're meant to be is one of the most challenging yet liberating experiences a person can have, because it requires you to release not just negative patterns, but also the familiar sense of self that these patterns have created. This isn't about forgetting your past or pretending your experiences didn't happen. It's about consciously choosing to let go of the old self that was shaped by those experiences and allowing a new identity to emerge from your highest potential. The process can feel like a death and rebirth because, in many ways, that's exactly what it is. The death of who you thought you were and the birth of who you really are underneath all the conditioning and limitations. The emotional aspect of this release can be intense because your ego interprets the dissolution of your old identity as actual death, which is why change often feels so scary even when it's positive change. You might experience grief for the familiar version of yourself you're leaving behind, anger at the circumstances that shaped your limiting beliefs, or fear about who you'll become without these old patterns to define you. This is completely normal and actually a sign that real transformation is happening. If letting go felt easy and comfortable, you probably wouldn't be releasing anything significant. The key is to honor these emotions while not letting them stop you from moving forward into your expanded identity. The spiritual dimension of letting go involves recognizing that your true essence was never damaged or limited by your experiences. These were just costumes your soul was wearing while learning certain lessons. When you let go of the old self, you're not losing anything real. You're shedding illusions that were keeping you small and reconnecting with the magnificent being you've always been underneath. This process often happens in layers, like peeling an onion. You might think you've released a pattern completely, only to discover another level of it that needs to be addressed. Be patient with yourself and trust that each layer you release brings you closer to the authentic self that's ready to receive all the abundance the universe has to offer. Quantum leap rituals are powerful ceremonies you create to consciously shift your energetic signature from who you've been to who you're becoming. And they work by engaging your subconscious mind, your emotional body, and your energetic field in a coordinated effort to anchor your new identity. These aren't just visualizations or positive affirmations. They're intentional practices that create energetic shifts in your being that the universe can't help but respond to with matching circumstances and opportunities. Think of them as software updates for your consciousness, where you're literally reprogramming your internal operating system to run on the frequency of your highest potential rather than your lowest fear. One powerful quantum leap ritual involves creating a symbolic release ceremony, where you write down all the limiting beliefs, old stories, and aspects of your small identity on pieces of paper, then burn them while consciously choosing to let go of each limitation. As you watch the smoke rise, you're not just destroying paper, you're releasing the energetic charge that these patterns held in your system and creating space for new possibilities to emerge. Follow this release with an embodiment practice where you spend time feeling into the energy of your expanded self. Breathe like they breathe, move like they move, speak like they speak, make decisions like they make decisions. The more vividly you can experience this new identity in your body and emotions, the faster it becomes your new reality. Another transformative ritual is the future self-integration practice, where you have an imaginary conversation with the version of yourself who has already achieved everything you desire. Ask them what beliefs they hold, how they handle challenges, what their daily routines look like, and most importantly, what they want you to know about the journey from where you are to where they are. This isn't just fantasy. Quantum physics tells us that all possibilities exist simultaneously, so you're actually accessing real information from a parallel version of yourself. The insights you receive during these conversations often contain practical guidance that your logical mind couldn't have generated, and implementing their advice creates tangible shifts in your external reality almost immediately. After you've released your old identity, but before your new reality has fully manifested, you enter what spiritual teachers call the sacred void, a liminal space between who you were and who you're becoming, where everything feels uncertain and nothing looks familiar. Worrying this phase can be deeply uncomfortable because your ego craves the security of knowing who you are and what to expect. But suddenly you're floating in a space of infinite possibility where your old reference points no longer apply. It's like being in the darkness between sunset and sunrise. You know the light is coming, but you can't see it yet, and all you can do is trust that this darkness is actually a sacred space where miracles are being prepared behind the scenes. Many people panic during the sacred void phase and try to rush back to their old identity because the unknown feels scarier than familiar limitation. But this is actually the most crucial time to maintain faith and your spiritual identity shift. The void isn't empty, it's pregnant with potential, and everything the universe needs to create your new reality is being orchestrated in ways your logical mind can't comprehend. This is where your abundance mindset becomes essential, because you need to trust that the universe is working for you even when you can't see evidence of it yet. It's like being in the womb. You can't see the world you're being prepared for, but every moment of darkness is contributing to your development. The sacred void teaches you to find security within yourself rather than in external circumstances, which is actually one of the most valuable gifts of the transformation process. When you learn to be comfortable with uncertainty, when you can maintain your sense of self even when everything around you is shifting, you become truly free because you're no longer dependent on having everything figured out to feel okay. This inner stability becomes the foundation for manifesting from wholeness rather than from neediness, and it's what allows you to hold space for miracles that are bigger than anything your limited imagination could have conceived. The void isn't punishment, it's preparation for a reality so much greater than your old life that you needed this time to expand your capacity to receive it. Manifesting from wholeness is completely different from manifesting from lack, because when you're operating from your complete, authentic self, you're not trying to get something outside of you to fill a void inside of you. You're simply allowing your natural abundance to express itself in physical form. This is the version of you that the universe can't ignore, because you're not begging, pleading, or trying to convince the cosmos to give you what you want. You're radiating such powerful energy that opportunities, people, and resources are drawn to you like metal to a magnet. Your very presence becomes a frequency that says, "I am someone who naturally receives good things," and reality has no choice but to comply with this energetic declaration. When you manifest from wholeness, you approach your desires from a place of excitement and possibility rather than desperation and need, which completely changes the energy behind your intentions. Instead of thinking, "I hope this works," or "I need this to be happy," you think, "I wonder how the universe will surprise me with this manifestation," or "This is going to be fun to receive." This shift in perspective might seem small, but it creates massive changes in your energetic signature, because desperation repels while celebration attracts. You start making decisions from the part of you that already has what you want, rather than the part that's afraid you'll never get it. And this alignment with your fulfilled self is what creates the magical synchronicities that make manifestation look effortless. The version of you that the universe can't ignore doesn't chase opportunities. They create them through their unique gifts and authentic expression. They don't worry about competition because they know there's only one them. And they don't dim their light to make others comfortable because they understand that their brilliance gives others permission to shine too. This person has done the inner work to let go of the old self and has built such unshakable self-worth that they naturally expect good things that happen because they know they're worthy of the best life has to offer. When you become this version of yourself, manifestation stops being something you do and becomes something you are, a natural expression of your wholeness flowing into form. Your true self isn't some future version of you that you might become someday if you work hard enough. They exist right now as a frequency you can access and embody in any moment you choose to align with your highest potential. The daily practices that allow you to embody this expanded identity aren't complicated or time-consuming. They're simple moments throughout your day where you consciously choose to show up as the person you're becoming rather than the person you've been. Every time you make a decision from expansion rather than contraction, every time you choose love over fear, every time you act from abundance rather than scarcity, you're strengthening the neural pathways and energetic patterns of your new identity. Start your day with an identity check-in where you ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Then, spend 5 minutes feeling into the energy of this expanded version of yourself. Notice how they breathe, how they hold their body, what kinds of thoughts flow through their mind, and how they feel about themselves and their life. Throughout the day, use this embodied sense of your true self as a compass for making decisions. When faced with any choice, ask, what would my highest self do in this situation? And then follow that guidance, even if it feels slightly uncomfortable or unfamiliar. This practice trains your nervous system to operate from your new identity rather than defaulting to old patterns. Create evening rituals that reinforce your spiritual identity shift by reviewing your day through the lens of your expanded self rather than your critical mind. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or what you didn't accomplish, celebrate the moments when you showed up as your true self and acknowledge the progress you made in embodying your new identity. Write down 3 ways you acted from your expanded self that day and 3 ways you can embody this identity even more fully tomorrow. This positive reinforcement helps your subconscious understand that this new way of being is safe and beneficial, making it easier for your true self to emerge naturally in all areas of your life. Remember, you don't become your true self by forcing change. You become your true self by removing everything that isn't truly you. So here's my challenge for you, and I want you to feel this in every cell of your being. What would your life look like if you finally had the courage to let go of the small version of yourself that you've been protecting all these years? What would become possible if you stopped defending your limitations and started embodying the expanded identity that's been waiting patiently in the wings? What if the only thing standing between you and your dream life is your unwillingness to outgrow who you used to be? I want to know, what's the first aspect of your small identity that you're ready to release today? What limiting belief or pattern are you finally ready to let go of so you can step into the abundant, expansive version of yourself that's trying to emerge? Share it in the comments because your breakthrough might be exactly the permission someone else needs to finally release their own limitations and claim their true power. And listen, if something awakened inside you while watching this, if you felt that unmistakable stirring that says, I'm ready to stop playing small, then you absolutely cannot miss what's appearing on your screen next. Because I'm about to reveal the specific quantum techniques and daily practices that will help you anchor your new identity so powerfully that your old limitations literally won't be able to exist in your new energetic field. Don't let this moment of clarity fade back into old patterns. Your expanded self is depending on the choice you make right now to finally let go of who you've been so you can become who you're meant to be. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because your journey to let go of the old self and claim your spiritual identity shift toward an abundance mindset is just beginning, and I have so much more to share with you about becoming the unstoppable force of nature you were born to be.